CQDX, CQDX, CQDX. This is Havana calling. CQDX, CQDX, CQDX. This is Radio Havana calling all shortwave listeners and radio amateurs. Welcome to... DXers Unlimited, Radio Havana's weekly feature dedicated to the fascinating world of radio communications.
Hi, radio aficionados all around the world. I am your amigo Arnie Coro in sunny and dry La Havana, Cuba, where this very early spring tropical ducting season has proven to be a very poor one so far. But we still have at least 2 more months to go before the weather patterns here change into the typical summer conditions that bring frequent thunderstorms almost every afternoon and no more tropical ducting. If you are now listening using a shortwave radio receiver, there is a very high probability that your radio will be a solid-state device. Vacuum radios, vacuum tube radios are now collector's items, and they do need technical expertise, know-how to keep them running. Yes, for more than half a century now, all radios built all around the world have been made using only solid-state devices. That meaning from early days germanium transistors and junction diodes to present-day highly complex, sophisticated microprocessors control sets that we make possible, providing users with a large number of operational features and memory banks, many memory banks that can be easily accessed to select any frequency stored in just a few milliseconds. Vacuum tube radios that are built during this 21st century are typically the result of the work by experimenters like you and I that enjoy assembling and operating such traditional circuits as the Armstrong regenerative detector that goes back in time to the year 1912 when it was invented by Major Edwin Armstrong, who also invented what we know now as frequency modulation. By the way, the first transistor radios that were sold are now considered to be valuable collector's items, some of them becoming as expensive as a radiola or an Atwater Kemp from the early days of vacuum tube radios. Just for your information, the first commercial transistor radio sold in the USA was the Regency TR1 that was offered in November of 1954 at $49.95 US, which is, according to a friend of mine that specializes in monetary matters, just equivalent to about $400 US of today. The Regency TR1 used just 4 transistors made by Texas Instruments. It is a well-known fact that radio frequency performance of early-day transistors was very poor and progress was slow in making them reach frequencies above 3 or 4 megahertz. So, the first transistor radios had no short waves or FM band tuning capabilities at all. And now, at a request to all my DXers Unlimited listeners, a request to all of you listening, please tell me via email to info.rhc@enet.cu what is the type or brand name of the shortwave radio that you are using at this moment to pick up this broadcast. Again, send the make and the model of your shortwave radio to info.rhc@enet.cu. And now, here is item 2 of this weekend edition of DXers Unlimited, coming to you from Radio Havana, Cuba. A breakthrough in the availability of professional-built antennas for amateur radio stations has brought to the marketplace 3 2-meters band antenna designs that are now sold by means of the store of the Cuban National Amateur Radio Federation, Federación de Radioaficionados de Cuba, the umbrella organization for the more than 150 municipal radio clubs of my country. The antennas are very well made at the Santa Clara City Antennas Factory, include a vertical and end-fed half-wave dipole, that is the popular J antenna, and 2 Yagi designs, one with 3 elements and the highest gain. One uses a Yagi beam configuration that was computer optimized for 6 elements. The opinions gathered among those who so far have bought the Cuban-made 2-meters band antennas is that they are very well made, have excellent finishing, and the selection of the materials makes possible for the new antennas to survive under high wind conditions. I don't mean that they will not be able to survive a hurricane. Of course, that's almost impossible. But they are certainly very rugged, so it's quite possible for those antennas to survive the typical tropical thunderstorms here in our country. According to the manufacturer, the 3 antennas are designed for for optimum matching to 50 ohms coaxial cables, and I still have to buy the 6-element Cuban jagging because I need to install it aiming at central Cuba from Havana, and to have the possibility of switching from my operating position between the 3 dB gain omnidirectional antenna in use and the 6-element jaggings that should provide about 8 or 9 dB gain. The 2 meters amateur band is the most popular ham radio band here in Cuba, and now many of those who have held the start-up amateur radio license that allows operation on 2 meters are building simple one-band HF transceivers to start exploring the shortwave bands too, especially 40 meters. Stand by for a few seconds. In a moment, the DXers Unlimited Weekend Edition will continue. I'm Arnie Coro in Havana. This is Radio Havana Cuba. The name of the show is DXers Unlimited. This is our weekend edition, and here is item 3. Yes, amigos, the invention of the transistor, the first solid-state device capable of amplifying electrical currents, changed the world where we live. It was quite a very profound change. And now some of the early days transistors launched into deep space do continue to travel beyond the solar system and still going strong. I'm talking about transistors. At our radio club, we discussed recently about very simple shortwave radios that could be built using 1 or maybe 2 or 3 transistors that were recycled from broken down equipment. So the cost will be next to zero. We ended up by drawing a very simple circuit capable of picking up the AM medium wave broadcast band, but limited to at most 3 or 4 megahertz in frequency. When used a switching transistor recycled from an 8 watts compact fluorescent light bulb circuit board. The transistor is connected to a grounded emitter radio frequency amplifier stage that feeds a voltage doubler diodes detector. A faint signal can be picked up from the diode's output by means of a high impedance headphones, or the audio can be fed. It can be channeled to a 2-stage audio amplifier, also made from the plentiful and easily available at zero cost compact fluorescent light bulbs switching transistors. We made a printed circuit board negative, so several boards were etched, and we assembled the same circuit but using much better silicon NPN transistors that were recovered from another source, in this case an old TV set board. As expected, we did achieve much better sensitivity, but now a new set of tuning coils must be wound to test the TRF, or tuned radio frequency receiver, at higher frequencies. The idea is to test the radio tuning from around 4 to 10 megahertz and watch how it works with a typical short wire antenna. We'll keep you up to date because it seems to be a very viable project, very practical, easy to implement, that could be assembled on top of the kitchen counter or a small table. No problem at all, no need for special tools. The prototype is powered with 4 series connected AA nickel metal hydride cells that yield about 1.3 volts per cell when fully charged. And believe me, they will last quite a long time because the labels say that they are rated at 2,000 milliamperes hour, enough to keep the radio working for several months without the need to recharge the batteries. And more about early days transistor radios. Information coming from Germany, from Europe, according to a trusted source. A workable all-transistor radio was demonstrated as early as August of 1953 at the Dusseldorf Radio Fair by the German firm Intermetall. It was built with 4 of Intermetall's handmade transistors based upon the 1948 invention of the transistron, germanium point contact transistor, by Herbert Mazaret and Heinrich Welker. However, with early days Texas Instruments and other prototypes of the German transistors were built, and as a matter of fact, just to wrap the topic now, you and I can enjoy a lot building copies of my TRF, tuned radio frequency transistors radio, especially if you have a little practice with a soldering iron, can use a digital multimeter and have learned how to wind coils of high enough inductance using small lengths of 1 inch or 25 millimeters diameter PVC pipe as the coil forms. Just send for the circuit diagram of Arnie Coro's TRF radio. Send your request to info.rhc@enet.cu. Again, info.rhc@enet.cu, and I'll be sending the simple circuit diagram and building instructions notes to you via email. And now, just before going QRT, at the end of the show, a brief note about recent geomagnetic disturbance that happened during the week. An update about what happened will follow in our middle of the week, Tuesday and Wednesday UTC broadcast, amigos. Solar flux stabilizing on around 80 units or so, and it will probably continue to be good for the next 2 to 3 days. Remember to send your signal reports and comments about this show to info@rhc@enet.cu or via email to Arnie Coro, my last name is right, Charlie Oscar Romeo Oscar, Arnie Coro, Radio Havana Cuba, Havana Cuba. And yes, I do appreciate very much your opinions and ideas that help me make a better program for you the next time we go on the air.
And that's all for today. This is Arnie Coro, Radio Amateurs CO2KK, your host here at Radio Havana's DXers Unlimited, saying 73 and very good DX.
Thanks, Arnie. Arnie Coro with DXers Unlimited, heard every Sunday here on RHC, also on Tuesdays on Radio Havana Cuba.